Okay, so I went into Obsession expecting a solid little horror movie. Maybe a fun, wish-gone-wrong concept, some decent scares, maybe a twist at the end. Standard stuff. What I got instead genuinely messed me up for the rest of the day. This is a Blumhouse horror film sitting at 94% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. And honestly, it deserves every single percent of that. Because Obsession is not just a scary movie, it is one of the most uncomfortable, sad, and weirdly honest films about loneliness and desire that I have ever seen disguised as a horror movie. I am going to break down the entire film, every major beat, the ending, what it all means. And I promise by the time we get to the end, you are going to feel things you did not sign up to feel today. Let's get into it. So, the film is from writer-director Curry Barker, who came up through YouTube and short film, and clearly has spent a lot of time thinking about what it means to want someone who does not want you back the same way. Our main character is Bear, played by Michael Johnston. You might know him from Teen Wolf. Bear is a music store employee in his 20s who is painfully, desperately, hopelessly in love with his childhood friend Nikki. He is a lonely 20-something with an unreciprocated crush that has basically become the defining fact of his entire existence. Nikki is played by Inde Navarrete, who you might know from Superman and Lois, and she is genuinely great in this. Nikki is not cruel to Bear. She is not mean. She just does not feel for him what he feels for her, and he cannot accept it. And here is the thing the film does really cleverly in its first act. It almost tricks you into thinking it is going to become an awkward romantic comedy. Bear and Nikki hang out with their mutual friends, Ian and Sarah. Bear almost asks her out a dozen times and chickens out every time. It is endearing and awkward and relatable. And then the wishing object shows up, and everything goes wrong. So Bear finds this thing called a one-wish willow. It is a gag gift he originally picked out for Nikki at an occult shop. He ends up keeping it, and one night, after dropping Nikki home and bottling up his feelings again, he breaks it and makes a wish. He wishes that Nikki would love him, and here is the exact wording because it matters. He wishes that she would love him more than anyone in the whole world. And it works. Kind of, here is where the film becomes something genuinely disturbing. Bear did not actually change Nikki's personality or feelings with the wish. Rather, Nikki was replaced by a completely different, cursed version of herself, obsessed with Bear to the point of self-mutilation and murder. The real Nikki is essentially gone. What is walking around in her body is a curse wearing her face. And Bear, who thought he just wanted her to love him, now has to watch the person he cares about become something terrifying because of a choice he made. That is the gut punch at the center of this whole film. Bear did not want this. He wanted to be loved. But what he got is something that cannot be controlled, cannot be reasoned with, and will hurt anyone who gets close to her, including him. Once the wish kicks in, the film's middle section is genuinely uncomfortable to watch, and I mean that as a compliment. Nikki gets angry if their dates do not go well. She stares at him while they sleep. She duct tapes the front door to keep Bear from leaving. When he goes to work, she stands in one spot for hours, waiting for him to come back. It starts as quirky, then unsettling, then genuinely frightening. She kills their mutual friends, Ian and Sarah, and then she kills Bear's cat. The cat moment is the one that really lands because of how casual it is. This is not a monster killing for survival. This is obsession in its purest, most toxic form, the belief that love means possession. That love means there is no one else, and anything that exists outside of Bear and Nikki is a threat. Bear becomes emotionally broken, isolated, and consumed by guilt. He made this happen. His friends are dead. The woman he loved has been replaced by something that will never let him go, and he has no idea how to fix it. So Bear starts trying to find a way out. He goes back to the shop where he bought the one-wish willow. He is told that many customers end up unsatisfied with their wishes, and he is given two options to undo it and set Nikki free. Option 1, use a second wish to cancel the first. Option 2, die, because his death would end the curse. He tries the first option, obviously. He goes home with a bunch more one-wish willows, but they are impossible for him to break. A supernatural safeguard against the same person making second wishes. The entity will not let him take the easy way out. The only thing that can end this is him, and this is where the film shifts from horror into something more like a tragedy. Because Bear has to make a choice. Keep living in this nightmare he created, watching a cursed version of Nikki spiral further and further, or end it, end himself, and free her. It is a genuinely dark place for a horror film to take you, and the fact that it earns that darkness, because you have spent the whole film understanding exactly how Bear got here, and exactly how lonely and desperate he was, makes it hit so much harder. Okay, so here is how it ends. And I want to be really clear about what is happening here because there is a detail that most people miss. Bear swallows the pills that killed his cat. He has chosen to die to free Nikki from the curse. But before he goes, there is a revelation. It turns out that Nikki, the real Nikki, somewhere inside the obsession, had made a similar wish herself. That Bear would love her endlessly. So this whole time, Bear wished for Nikki to love him. And Nikki had wished for Bear to love her. Two people, both too scared to just say what they felt out loud. Both reaching for a magical shortcut instead of having an honest conversation. And both ending up with a curse instead of a relationship. Before Bear dies, the two embrace. And his death cancels both wishes, because the entity powering them has passed away. The film ends with Nikki sobbing and screaming in horror. She is herself again, fully. For the first time since the wish. And the person she is now herself for is gone. Inde Navarrete said in an interview that she thinks Nikki starts a grieving process right there in that final moment. Which is exactly right. The curse is lifted, and what is underneath it is grief. Pure, raw, real grief. For what she did. For who she lost. For the version of this story that never got to exist, because neither of them was brave enough to just be honest. Here is the thing that stuck with me most after Obsession. The scariest part is not the supernatural curse. It is the uncomfortable realization that many people probably understand Bear far more than they want to admit. Bear is not a villain. He is not even a bad person. He is just someone who wanted to be loved and was too scared to risk rejection. So he bypassed consent entirely, made a decision about someone else's feelings without ever giving her the chance to choose him on her own terms. And the film's answer to that is brutal. You do not get to wish someone into loving you. Love that bypasses choice is not love at all. It is possession. Obsession is one of those rare horror films that uses the genre to say something genuinely true about human behavior. It is scary. It is sad. And it lingers. 94% on Rotten Tomatoes for a reason. If you have not seen it, go see it. If you have, drop in the comments what hit you hardest. Because for me it was the reveal that Nikki had made a wish too. Two people, same feeling, too afraid to just say it. That is the real horror of this movie. I will link my other breakdown videos below. Subscribe if you want more, and I will catch you in the next one.